but it really deserves another look. And that, of course, is the Raiders hiring their new president, Sandra Douglass Morgan. She, of course, named the president of the Raiders on Thursday. And I really like this hire. A lot of people have different feelings on it, but I want to go through this and get your comments, Mo, because I'm telling you, this woman is dynamite. She has done a lot, and a lot of people didn't, quote unquote, know her outside of Las Vegas, which I understand. But at the same time, I think this is huge for a team trying to get a foothold in still its new market. Yes, going into the third season, but remember the first season was COVID. Nobody got to go to a game. She grew up in Southern Nevada, moved there when she was 2 years old, went to school in both parts of Nevada. She went up to Nevada, Reno, and then went to UNLV for law school, but mostly Las Vegas. She went to El Dorado High School there. She's got experience with both the Nevada Gaming Board and is well connected in the state. She's the first African-American to serve on the control board, by the way, gaming board, in 2019 through 2021. She was a city attorney, worked at the city of North Las Vegas for 8 years. Last year, she was named the vice chair of the Las Vegas Bowl host committee. And she was also director of external affairs over at AT&T Services, where she oversaw the government's kind of local government legislative community work in Nevada. And of course, served on Nevada's highest ranking athletic commission, which is the Nevada Athletic Commission, State Athletic Commission, which controls boxing, UFC, all the sanctioned sports in Nevada. And of course, there's a little NFL experience there through her husband, Don, who played in the NFL from 99 through 2002 with the Vikings and the Cardinals. Mo, I'm a little bit out of breath because this woman's resume is fantastic. And she's got, I think, everything you want in the person who's going to run the business side of your NFL franchise.
Absolutely, because just in case a lot of you are wondering, she's not going to be the one negotiating trades, signing free agents. She's going to be the person that's going to make sure everything's tidy in the front office, which if you've read the news recently, you know the Raiders front office has been a mess. A lot of turnover. Guys leaving, Mark Burdane leaving, Dan Ventrell out within a year. So she's coming as a third president, I believe, within a year. So she has a lot to clean up, and she understands that, and she faced that issue head on in her presser. She said, you know, she knows that the organization has faced some recent challenges, and she's not going to sweep it under the rug. To me, that is the first sign of leadership. A leader's not going to come in and make believe everything is hunky-dory and everything's okay. No, she knows there's some issues there, and she's going to go out and try to fix them.
No doubt about it. And I want to read this quote from her, Mo, because this is important. And that is about the situation you're talking about the defections, about the reports that we get both on the record and off the record from people who say that it's kind of dysfunctional right now. And it has been since the move. And she said, and here's Douglass Morgan, her quote from the press conference. She says, quote, "I've been able to take from unfortunate situations, being able to rise through and find good solutions that help the greater good." Then later on, she said, "Let me be clear. I'm not here to avoid or sidestep problems or concerns that need to be addressed. I've given the long and thoughtful consideration to joining you, the Raiders, and I've done so because I believe in the promise of the Raiders. Most importantly, I believe in the core values of integrity, community, and commitment to excellence. I will expect you to embody those and to hold me accountable to do the same." That was from her letter to the employees of the Raiders. I mean, she said everything right, Mo. Now the hard work begins.
Yeah, absolutely. Now you got to get down to work. You got to get down to meeting with the employees, getting involved with the community, because I know we mentioned it on our previous show that part of it is you have to get the fans in Nevada involved with the team, because you don't want, visiting fan bases coming in and taking over Allegiant Stadium. I know a lot of people have talked about that last season, but the Raiders not just got there, but they're just building a base there. And I think she's going to be part of that. As you said, a lot of legwork to do, but I think she's up for the job with all the leadership positions she's had in recent past.
Yeah, there's no question. And I was a little dismayed by some of the Raider fan reactions. Now, again, I'm getting a small sample in the toxic wasteland that can be social media, especially around fandom and NFL teams. Although most Raider fans are ecstatic with the selection. But some of the things I heard, and you mentioned it just a moment ago, which was, well, I never heard of her. Well, first of all, because you never heard of somebody doesn't necessarily disqualify them from being a good leader. Number two, the thought about not having quote unquote NFL experience. She has plenty of sports experience. I told you about the Nevada State Gaming Commission. I told you about the Nevada State Athletic Commission, excuse me. Those are big deals. That controls all the sports, all the prize fights you hear in Nevada, all the big UFC fights. She's had that. Then she's also was named to the Super Bowl committee as well, because the Raiders will be hosting the Super Bowl in 25. Boy, you don't get to those positions and get all of those assignments unless you know what you're doing. Plus, you have to know how to run a business and navigate the world that is entertainment, that mixes with politics and the community. And she has all of those things.
It's all about qualifications, and she checks those boxes. Mark Davis meeting her and getting a feel for her energy, he felt like she was the right person for the job. And we've run down her resume plenty of times, and we just said, look, she's definitely qualified for the position as a leader. And I like what I heard from her at her press conference, just facing these problems that the Raiders are having in the front office head on. And I think she'll prove a lot of people wrong.
Yeah, I do too. And listen, we've gone through now almost 10 12 minutes talking about this hire again, which I really like for the Raiders. I think they have a good talent. And to your point, I've been making the point, maybe because I've lived in Las Vegas twice, and my wife is a native. The fact that they need to develop the fan base, it got better last year, especially as the year went on and the Raiders were doing well, but they still need someone who understands and has really deep connections. Doesn't mean somebody from the outside couldn't have been successful at it, but having that person who knows that community since they were 2 years old. She saw Las Vegas grow up before any of this stuff was there. And to me, that's really significant, the fact that she gets that. But we didn't talk about, Mo, being the first African-American woman president, which is an accomplishment in itself. It's the third African-American to serve as an NFL president, but the first woman. It is significant, and it certainly fits in with the Raiders and Al Davis's mentality of hiring the best person no matter who they are. But how do you look at that and the significance? A lot of Raider fans are taking pride in that.
Yeah, definitely. A lot of Raider fans took pride in the organization because of their first and a lot of barriers being broken in the NFL. Of course, the most notable link between Sandra and is Amy Trask, who also has a law background. So she's also, by the way, up as a semifinalist in the Hall of Fame. So look out for that. I think she gets in. But the Raiders aren't unfamiliar with breaking barriers, especially when it comes to first women for a position, first African American for a position. So this goes in line with what Al Davis set for this organization, and Mark Davis is definitely following in those footsteps.
He sure is. And I'm just excited for them because I think they needed that shot. They needed someone. And I talked to a gentleman in the organization last week and kind of asked him, I said, hey, so how does everybody feel? And this person works on the business side. He doesn't work on the football side. And he said, you know what? Very good. We're excited. The only kind of part of it for him, and he said others in the organization, was the fact that, well, we've had other people from the gaming industry come in, and it hasn't always worked out. And so people are a little leery of that. But I understand she comes from gaming, but it's not like she was just a marketing director at a casino or the CMO at a casino. This is someone who's had high level positions, and she's learned how to govern, so to speak, learned how to run an organization that has multiple tentacles. And to me, it's going to be interesting to see how it goes. But they need to. Some people say, I don't care. I just want them to win on the football field. But Mo, that office side, they control the overall brand. And that's, you need both sides of the house to be in order, don't you?
What is that saying? The fish rots from the head. If your front office is out of order and it's a mess, there's eventually going to be a trickle down effect. Now, the Rays have been able to overcome certain things, but at the end of the day, you have to make sure your house is in order if you want the product to be good on the field.
Absolutely right. And so, I mean, again, the hiring of Sandra Douglass Morgan, big story this week. And I know we'll get to know her a little more. We'll work on trying to get her on the show. I'm sure she's going to be really busy. So we'll continue to work on that and figure out how we can get her on the show. But I'm sure she'll also she did her introductory press conference. I'm sure she'll do some more discussions with people. But she's got so much work to do that I think if you don't see her, that's a good sign too.